Hi there. Today we are going to try a standing posture for prenatal yoga, and we are going to explore tree pose together. First, we'll warm up with some hip circles, and then we'll jump into tree. And I have a lot of options, so it'll be available to any trimester. We're even going to try it out in the chair, as well as standing with support and standing on our own. Let's give it a try. All right, so first we'll start with the hip circles. Now, again, if standing is just not happening in your body today, maybe you're having some mobility challenges, or you're just really far into your third trimester and it doesn't feel good, you can do hip circles right here in the chair, and you can circle along with us this way to warm up the hips. You could also lift one leg, if that's available in your body, and circle one hip at a time to get that hip warming up motion and feeling in your muscles. If you do have standing available to you today, let's stand up, and I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to put them on my hips. And first I'm just going to breathe in a nice breath down to my belly and let it all the way out. Why don't we try one where we raise our shoulders up to our ears and sigh it out? I love that. So we'll raise our shoulders up to our ears and sigh it out. Good work. Let's try it one more time. Breathe in and sigh it out. Nice job. Then let's take those hands back up to our hips. And we're just going to warm up with some hip circles. This is a great preparation for doing any balancing poses or really any standing poses, and it just feels good in your body usually. So I have my feet grounded into the ground. I can lift and wiggle my toes, plant them down, maybe rock forward and backwards a little to make sure that I feel solid and balanced in my body. Maybe rock side to side a little, see how that feels. Our balance literally changes every day, or sometimes it feels like morning to night when we're pregnant. So it's good to feel out our body today and see where it's at. So then once I feel grounded, I have my feet slightly wider than hips width apart. You can put them hips width. I wouldn't recommend too tight together because you might feel off balance as we circle. So any distance, hips width or a little wider, hands on hips. And first we're going to just start by swaying. So sway side to side, and you might already feel, wow, my hips are tight and this feels good and maybe I needed this. This is something you can do kind of anywhere. If you're waiting in a line, if you're washing dishes, whatever you might be doing, you could do this kind of a easy sway side to side. Good work. Then we're going to add a little bit of circling motion to it. So I'm going to go to the back and then to the back again. So I'm swaying side to side, but circling my hips towards the back. So I'm pushing into my heels a little, pushing into the backs of my thighs and my glutes as I circle back. And then let's try doing it to the front. So same swaying motion, but I'm swaying to the front, swaying semicircles to the front. So I'm tilting my pelvis, my belly's coming a little forward as I do this. Nice work. And you can incorporate some back motion as you do this. Your body's going to do it a little naturally, but depending what areas you're holding tension in, go ahead and circle all the way now if it feels good. Whatever areas you're holding tension in, it might feel good to kind of work them out here. So you could add shoulders into it. You could add some arm motions. You might want to kind of sway them around. That might feel good. The circles feel pretty good in my body today, so I'm going to go around and go both directions. So if you went a few circles in one direction, make sure to change into the other direction. Even it out a little. Nice work. We never want our knees locked. Always give them at least a micro bend when you're doing this. Good job. Keeps the blood flowing. All right. And then we're going to give tree pose a try. Looked at my chair. I want to make sure that everyone has a chair available to them or a wall, something you can lean against just if you feel like you need support. Even if you're in your first trimester, dizziness, I remember from when I was pregnant, dizziness can just hit and all of a sudden you're going, oh, I don't feel so good. So it's nice to have a little bit of support when we're working on balancing poses in our body. All right, so for tree pose, we've now warmed up our hips. I'm going to start by holding onto my chair with one of my legs. And then with my outer leg, I'm just going to lift and lower it. Now I kind of naturally put my hand on my hip, and that helps me kind of feel my balance. You could also put your hand right at your heart like you're doing a half Anjali mudra, and that kind of helps you center. Nice work. Once you feel good, bend that standing leg. Make sure it's really rooted and firmly grounded. Once you feel good here, if this is all you feel like doing today, this is great. Stick at one-legged Tadasana. And you can try bringing your hands to Anjali. See how your balance is today. If you feel like going in further into tree pose, we turn our leg out to the side and we're going to press our foot against our other leg. Now you can come all the way up to your thigh for your tree pose, depending how slippery your pants are. Mine are pretty slippery today. You can come into this pose for your tree pose if you're a practiced yogi and you're familiar with it. If not, and just for overall comfort, I really recommend staying on the lower part of the leg or even keeping your toes on the ground for kickstand, for really firm rootedness, and you're not feeling like you're gonna fall over, but you're still really getting a good expression of the pose. All right, so wherever your legs are, go ahead and prop your legs up. Try raising one arm up. Then if you feel solid, raise up that other arm. And remember, you're pushing back against your foot with that grounded leg to have a really same way it feels when your hands push together, to have a really solid base. Nice work. You can bring the hands to the heart if that feels comfortable. You can bring them up overhead. Come back down and we're going to gently come out of it. You can always grab onto the chair if you need it. And just so you can see, if you don't have a chair available, I can put my hand right on my wall and do the same pose. So the wall would act as my support. If you want to do this from seated in a chair, it would look like this. Legs grounded, feet are flat on the ground, and I'm just going to lift my leg and turn it to the side. So I still have that tripod action, but I'm getting that same benefit of widening my hips out. I'm opening up my hips and I'm working those muscles. And this is great for birth prep as well. So that looks great. And you would do the same on both sides. So feel free to follow along in the chair doing that. Similarly, I'm going to try my other side out. There's one other pose I did not show you that could be done with a block. So there's a block option as well. So I'm standing next to my chair again. Same thing. Lift and lower that leg. See how it feels. Nice work. I can bring my hand in for a half Anjali. I could bring them together and just stand here in one-legged Tadasana or mountain pose. If I want to try tree pose, I can turn my leg out. And again, keep the toes on the ground for that kickstand. Go ahead and go lower leg. We just don't want to touch on that knee joint because that makes us really unstable. Or bring it all the way up if that's what I'm feeling in my body today. The one other option I forgot to show is I have my block here. I have it on its lowest setting, and I can put my toes on the block and press my heel or even my foot against my other leg, but now I am firmly grounded. So it's similar to that kickstand idea, but it gives you a little bit more extension and bend in the hip because you've raised the ground up to you. So always an option is to use a block here. Okay, I'm going to kick that out of the way. I'm going to raise up my foot, come into my tree pose for today. I can let go of my chair hand and my other hand if I'm comfortable. If I'm not, keep that chair hand there. Keep yourself grounded and balanced and feeling safe. And if your arms are in the sky, you can bring fingertips together. You can bring them at your heart. Or you could even bring them out to the side if that feels comfortable and balanced for you. Go ahead and bring hands to the hips. Come out of your pose, shake it out a little, and you just had a great experience, hopefully, with tree pose. Thanks so much for practicing with me today.